Is the iPad a laptop replacement? That is a question I've heard people asking basically since the first iPad came out more than 10 years ago. Even though Steve Jobs made it clear that the iPad was aimed at a spot between the iPhone and the MacBook, people still have to ask this question, and every time a new iPad comes out and it gets better and faster and more versatile, then they have to ask that question again. Can the iPad replace my laptop now? Well, how about now? How about this year? Can it replace my laptop yet? And then Apple didn't do this question any favors by starting to market the iPad directly against laptops in their recent marketing campaigns over the last couple of years. But here's the deal. I don't really care if the iPad can replace a laptop. That's not the question I want to ask. What I want to ask about any electronic is, can that electronic device do the things that I need it to do? And that's where I really think this question is coming from. People want to know, if they get an iPad, will they still need to buy or use or own a laptop? It's not that they want the laptop replaced, so much that they want to know, can they do the tasks they need to do with the iPad? And that question is very personally dependent upon the tasks that you need to do. But what I can say is that the iPad is the most convenient, the most versatile, and the most useful computer that has ever been made. Because very broadly, it can do so many things that so many people need. The truth is that a lot of people were using laptops for a long time, not because they really needed a laptop. They didn't need 13-inch screens and keyboards and mice. They needed a device that could do computing tasks that they needed to do. And the laptop was the only device available. And so people got into the habit of using laptops because that's just all there was. It wasn't like there were other options. So then when smartphones and tablets started coming out, the question started being, well, can this do what my laptop did? And the first time that I started asking myself this question was back when I was in college, and the wireless card on my old MacBook went out, and so I couldn't connect to the internet anymore. I could still use it, but I had to be tethered to an Ethernet cable or be doing something that wasn't internet dependent. And we were really poor at this time, and so I decided to scrape together what little money we did have and purchase one of the original iPad minis, a refurbished unit, so that I could save some money on it. And that was what I decided to use as my main portable computer for the rest of my time as an undergraduate in college. And so was that iPad mini a laptop replacement? Well, yes, in some ways it was. I had been using a laptop and now I was using an iPad, but really it was just the computer that I needed at that time. It was the computer that I could afford, and it was the computer that could do the things that I needed to do. I still used my laptop at home though when I could connect it to Ethernet. And so it wasn't like the iPad mini had completely replaced my use of the laptop. It's just my laptop had become a lot more like a desktop computer and was not so portable anymore. And then eventually the tasks I needed to do became more complicated than the iPad mini could handle. And so I had to switch back to using a laptop for a while. So at that point, was my laptop an iPad replacement? It doesn't really matter, right? It's just that I needed a laptop to do the tasks that need to be done there. Another good example is my younger brother, who when he went to college took an iPad 2 with him as the only computer that he took. He had already had that iPad 2 for a couple years before that, but that iPad 2 could do what he needed to do during his first year of college. And so that's all he took with him. And then later on, he decided that he was going to become a programmer. And so the iPad was no longer an efficient computing device for him. And so he ended up getting a MacBook Pro because that was the device that he needed. Was the MacBook Pro an iPad replacement? Yeah, because that was the only computer he had had before. The iPad hadn't really been a laptop replacement because he hadn't had a laptop before. But at that point, his laptop was an iPad replacement. But it was really just that he needed to change the type of tasks that he was doing. The point here is that you need to choose the computer that is best for you. And the iPad is an absolutely incredible computer. And I'm talking about any iPad, not just the iPad Pros. My main portable computing device right now is a base model iPad from 2018. And I do real professional work on it, including design work, batch photo editing, and video editing. I do all of that from the base model iPad from 2018. And there's even a better version of that iPad out from 2019, which includes a smart connector. And so when my sister recently needed to replace her old MacBook, it was probably like 10 years old, and she needed to replace it, I told her, go ahead and get this base model iPad from 2019 because it could do all of the computing tasks that she needed to do in her life right then. So it was a laptop replacement in that she had had a laptop and she was replacing it with an iPad, but it really was just the computer that she needed right then. Just like the computer that I need right now when I'm on the road is this iPad. But when I'm at home, I use an iMac desktop for a lot of tasks as well. So here we are, 10 years into the iPad being a thing, and the iPad is still not a laptop replacement because it's something better. It's a more versatile, portable, creative, and consumptive device that anyone can use. And the question to ask yourself is it the computer that you need right now? If it is, then get one. And ask yourself which of those iPads is right for the tasks that you need to do. If it's not the right computer for you, then don't get one. But I think for many people, it is the best computer choice for the tasks that they need to do, even for creative professionals. And if you do want to learn more about using the iPad for creative work, check out the links in the description for some of my courses on professional creative apps on the iPad. If you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.